Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Keean Bexte for Rebel News coming to you with a story that you're just not going to believe. I'm standing outside of a hotel near the Calgary airport where a woman is currently being held against her will after breaking apparently no rules at all. She landed in Calgary from the United States and Justin Trudeau's thugs appeared, picked her up and brought her here. She hasn't been able to speak face to face with her family since landing, and her family is horrified at what's going on. We're horrified on her behalf. She's spoken to me over the phone and she sent me a video from within her hotel room showing me that the hallway outside of her room is lined with plastic. What's going on here is insane, and there's seemingly no reason for what's going on. There's no explanation for what's going on. She can't get an explanation. We can't get an explanation, and we've retained lawyers for her. I'm going to go in there and speak to the people running this hotel to see exactly what Justin Trudeau has directed them to do, why they are doing it, because it's just not clear. Nikki Mathis is her name. She's currently in one of these rooms in the hotel right behind me. She's not allowed to leave. She says she was threatened with 6 months in jail if she did. We don't know what's going on. Justin Trudeau has not made the rules clear. We believe it has something to do with testing. She took a test while she was in the United States. It came back as negative. When she landed, border agents said that no, that test isn't valid, it didn't work, or something along those lines, even though she had the paperwork to document it, to back it up herself. You can see the piece of paper right here. You can see clear as day that she does not have the Wuhan coronavirus. She is not sick. She is not a threat. But when she landed, she was not only denied the rapid testing that is available to everyone who lands at the Calgary airport, she was picked up and brought here and locked in a hotel room where she can't leave under threat of actual arrest. We don't know what's going on. I'm going to go in there to try and figure it out.
Everything has to go.
Could you please explain to me how many Canadians you have detained in this hotel?
Please go away.
How many Canadians against their will are being held in this hotel?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, you have to leave the property. Really and truly.
I will.
What kind of secret operation is going on here?
Is this your vehicle?
We know.
What kind of secret operation is going on here, and how many people do you have detained here in this building? Are they allowed to
If
leave?
this is your vehicle,
Are they allowed to leave? Can you tell me how many people are detained here?
I will not tell you anything.
You will not tell me how many people are detained here. Why is that? Why is this such a secret? And why are you guys actively doing the bidding of Justin Trudeau, someone who you know is not acting in the best interests of Canadians at all? No way whatsoever is this a reasonable thing to do, to hold people against their will in a hotel under the threat of arrest, of jail time for 6 months. What is going on here?
Okay, if you're not leaving, I'm calling the cops.
Please do.
And I will.
Because what's going on here I don't think is illegal. What's going on here I do not think is legal.
I don't care what you think.
And I'll happily leave. I'm going to my car right now to leave.
Good. Because if you don't, the cops will be here in no time flat.
Oh, I bet they will.
Well, call it what you will, folks. Quarantine hotels or perhaps even COVID concentration camps. The thing is, for a government that pretends to be all about transparency, there is anything but transparency when it comes to Justin Trudeau's holding pens for Canadian citizens. And yet, why all the secrecy in the first place? And joining me now to try and unravel this disturbing mystery is Keean Bexte in Calgary. Hey, how you doing there, Keean?
Great. How are you, David?
Fantastic. So, Keean, for starters, are these quarantining facilities even legal in the first place?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, Canadians have a right to not be detained unreasonably if they haven't broken any laws. And these Canadians, they haven't broken any laws, at least not in any way that the government of Canada is able to demonstrate. Canadians have an inherent right to return to this country, to leave this country, or to stay in this country. It's those rights are something that are given to us so that the government can't overstep their bounds and, send away voters that they don't like, or stop voters from coming back into the country that they don't like. There's a whole bunch of reasons for why we have mobility rights, and the underlying fact of them are the government has no right to interfere with them. That includes Justin Trudeau, even though he might disagree with that.
Oh my God, I can just see the Justin Trudeau Liberals drooling over your idea, getting rid of the voters they don't like, but Keean, last month I had a bizarre story involving, it was a fellow called Duray and his father who flew into Toronto from Jamaica, and they were put into one of these quarantining facilities here in Toronto, the Radisson near the airport on Dixon Road. And I mean, full hazmat suits on the staff, plastic taped everywhere. They were told they were confined to quarters. At the end of the day, anti-lockdown protester got wind of this story, sprung a escape for them by way of hiring an Uber car to come along. And here's the thing, they were told repeatedly as they left the hotel, stop in the name of the law, you cannot leave, you will be facing consequences, etc., etc. But nobody laid a hand on them. They got into the car and they went home. So the point I'm trying to get to, Keean, is that are people being told falsehoods in terms of what their rights actually are in the hopes of the authorities thinking that they'll buy it and they'll just stay put?
Yeah, that could be it, right? Like I wouldn't put it past this government to lie to people to their faces, especially in the great confusion that they've caused, right? Like this is extraordinary what is happening. I'm not sure if it's ever happened in Canada where the government has by decree said certain people can't come back unless they meet certain requirements that the government says so. Quarantine Act or not, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. To your question, I wouldn't put it past the government to lie straight to Canadians. And Canadians don't understand exactly what's going on. Lawyers, in some cases, don't understand what's going on because they're just so taken aback by the brazenness of the moves of how brazen this government is in these moves. So naturally, we've retained lawyers, and they are the best in the business, and we're using them to help as many people as we can who return to this country who ask for help. And just a note to the viewers, if anyone is returning to this country by plane, please email us at airports@rebelnews.com. There we'll be able to sort of triage what's going on, maybe help you out a little bit if we can, and at least cover your story of you returning to this country.
And Keean, we can say for certain there is lying going on. When we went to that Radisson, there was a security guard who said to us on camera that the camera was closed because, that the hotel was closed because it was under construction. No construction workers, no construction equipment, and faces pressed up against windows looking out forlornly. So we know that lying is not beyond them. But I want to tackle one other thing, and to me this is a perverse irony. We have Canadian citizens, and in the case of the lady you interviewed, she had a negative COVID test from her departure point of Texas, which for some reason was not accepted. But we have them being sheep herded into these COVID quarantine hotels. And yet, Keean, you can have illegal aliens cross over from the US into Canada at places such as the infamous Roxham Road. And not only are they denied entry, not only are they told you've got to quarantine for lack of a COVID test, you'll have the RCMP carry their baggage as though they're bellhops. How do you make sense of this?
Well, it's frustrating to me, and I think every other Canadian who's had to return over the past little while. I was in the United States just a bit ago, and I seriously thought about coming and crossing it at Roxham Road because the government, for some reason, has an exception for everyone doing that. Of course, they're just Justin Trudeau would lock me and throw me in jail probably if I did that. Because the only people that get that exception are fake refugees, people who don't even belong in the United States as refugees. Justin Trudeau wants to bring them to Canada so that they can vote for him in 3, 4, 5 years. So people are frustrated. This is peak insanity of the Trudeau government. It's chaos at the borders. It's chaos at airports. And I'm certainly going to continue as much coverage as I can at those airports to explain to Canadians what's going on and the risks that they face with Justin Trudeau at the head.
Yeah, and of course, Keean, the Wuhan virus is such a super intelligent virus, it would never dare infect illegal aliens come in, because, you know,
Certainly not.
it's heavily vested into social justice warrior causes like that. But a bona fide Canadian coming in who apparently doesn't have the right paperwork, well, off to the hotel with you for 14 days. Keean, great piece. Please keep us posted on any more developments coming out of Calgary regarding this property.
For sure. Thanks, David.
Hey folks, that was an excerpt from my show, Rebel Roundup. Now, to get the full meal deal, why not go to Rebel News Plus, sign up, and never miss a Rebel News Plus show in the future.